Good afternoon, class. In today's class, we start the second unit, that is gate level modeling, where we will see some introduction and gate primitives, module structure, and some other gate primitives, and we'll illustrate some examples. In the later classes, we'll be seeing regarding the tri-state gates, arrays of instances of primitives, design of flip-flops with gate primitives, and we have different types of delays, strengths, and resolution, net types, design of basic circuits. We'll see all these topics in the gate level modeling. That is unit 2. First, we'll start with gate level modeling. In this, first we'll see just as an introduction. So, what does a primitive mean? So, if you are a digital designer or you are a digital designer, you will be knowing what are the common logic gates. You already know what are the common logic gates and their symbols and their working. Okay. And flip-flops. Okay, so a digital designer will be knowing what are the common logic gates used. We already know that AND gate, OR gate, NAND gate, NOR gate, XOR gate, XNOR gate. We have this type of gates, right? NOT gate, that is nothing but the inverter, and also the buffer. Okay, we will be using all these type of logic gates for the building of flip-flops. Not only this, we know that we use these type of gates for building some other complex functionalities also. Okay, these basic gates are called as primitives in Verilog, right? Okay, these basic gates are called as primitives. So first we'll be discussing from the AND gate primitive. Okay, so all the gates what we study in basic is nothing but that particular gate primitive. We see here. So AND gate primitive is stated with the following statement. Say if I want to instant state, this instantiated with the AND G1, O, I1, so on up to IN. Okay. After writing this, what will happen? You see, this AND is for, it's a keyword which is signifying that it is an AND gate. Okay. G1 is the name of the gate assigned to the specific instantiation, right? And O is the output. You already know that I1, I2, these are the inputs. So from writing this, what we can understand? We can see this AND G1, O, I1, I2, so on up to IN. We have to remember something. So you recall what you can see here. AND gate is having only one output. Okay. O is the output and we are using only one output. But we can have many number of inputs. Here I am not mentioning here AND gate as 2 input AND gate or 3 input AND gate or 4 input AND gate. Okay. Here when we instantiate it, we can have any number of inputs. Generally, the number of inputs for this AND gate is going to depend upon the compiler specific. Okay, it is going to be compiler specific. What does it mean, compiler specific? If the compiler what you are using is of 32 bit, you can give only up to 32 number of bits input. Okay, 32 inputs you can give bits. Okay, if it is 64 bit, you can give up to 64 number of inputs. Okay, but we will be having only one output. That thing we'll see in the next tables. Okay, so this is instantiating AND gate, and this is the local name of the gate G1, and we have an output O, and we have the inputs from I1 to I1, I2, like that, IN. If this NA, if your compiler is of 32 bit, you can give up to I31. Sorry, okay, I1, it is starting from I1, so we can give up to I32. If it is starting at I0, we will give up to I31 only. That means the total bit of inputs will be only the 32. How you are deciding that 32 is the highest number of inputs what we can give? That is depending upon the compiler specific. If it is of 64 bit, we can give 64 number of input bits, right? So it will be performing the AND operation between all those bits and it will be producing the output. What does it mean? AND gate primitive is nothing but if all the inputs are 1 only, it is going to produce output 1. For rest all other cases, it is going to produce 0 only. No need to think of it very much, right? That thing we already know. So here we are giving the name as AND G1. Actually, name is not necessary, but for understanding purpose, we are giving some, for instantiation purpose, we are giving it. So you can see here, you can see first we'll see this program 4.1. This is the test program. Do we have the directly under program? Do we have here? Okay. Okay, you can see we have for AOI and or input. For that case, we have in the next upcoming pages, we'll see that. So for example, you see here figure shows the stimulus program. Stimulus is for testing only, right? Okay. So the corresponding output for this program is shown here. So first let me analyze this. So I have a program called, it is nothing but AND G1, B1, comma, sorry, B, comma, A1, comma, A2. This A1 and A2 are the inputs and B is the output. Okay, the name of the gate I have given is G1 and it is an AND gate, right? So I have every program will be started with the help of module only. Okay, module space. What is it? It is to test the AND gate. So I am writing the name of that particular module as test underscore AND. Test underscore AND. I can write something there. I can write test underscore some other name also. Generally, what we'll be doing is if name of the main program is AND, we will be writing test underscore AND. If name of the main program is H, we'll be writing test underscore H. Do you understand now? It is a stimulating program, right? This is for testing, the test bench. So test bench will be having the name as, so module. After that, your name will be just like test underscore the name of the main program, what we have there. Okay, that thing what we have to write here. So we have registers, A1 and A2 are the registers because they are inputs, right? A1 and A2 are registers, and we can directly assign the values. Okay, we can only assign the values and we can read from that. Okay, and we can't use that one as the, we can't connect that one to the output. So for one module, if it is getting some output, I can't connect that output to a register. Okay, so you can see here. So register will be generally used for initialization purpose. We can only initialize some value to it. That is called a register, right? So B is a wire, and initial is for indicating that it is the program is going to start from here. Okay, initial, later begin. So first at the initial stage, what should be there? A1 is equal to 0 and A2 will be also equal to 0. So after 3 time unit seconds, in the sense I am not mentioning nanoseconds or microseconds or milliseconds, whatever it may be. That unit seconds in the sense US sometimes we used to write with the U. Yes, that depends upon the compiler. Okay, after 3 nanoseconds, sorry, after 3 time units, that means the clock after passing 3 positive clock cycles, the A1 is going to become 1. Okay, that means at that time, what will be the our inputs? A1 is equal to 1 and A2 is equal to 0. I am not going to change that A2, right? So that means first I am giving as input of 0, 0. Later what I have to do? After waiting for 3 nanoseconds, for 3 unit seconds, I am making A1 as 1. Later 1 after 1 units of second, that means it is at 1 for only 1 unit amount of time. Later, when it is 1, A2 is still 0. That means we are verifying the value for 1, 0. First is 0, 0 we have verified, then we have verified 1, 0. Next, now I am making it as, after 1 unit of time, I am making A1 as 0. So that means, so at this point of time, A1 is 0 and A2 is also 0. Okay. Next, after 2 unit seconds, we are making A2 as 1. Okay. A2 is equal to 1 here and A1 is 0. That means we are verifying for 0, 1 condition. 0, 1 condition we are verifying. Then after that, A1 is equal to 1 and A2 is also 1. There is no change in A2 so far, right? So A2 is equal to 1 and A1 is equal to 1. That means we are verifying for 1, 1 condition. So after for 3 seconds time, after 3 units time, unit seconds time, then we are making A2 as 0. At this point of time, what is the value? Next we are verifying for 1 and 0. And then we are making, after giving as A2 input as 0, we are running once again that value for 1 time unit second. Then once again we are making A2 as 1 here. This thing you can clearly understand here. At the 0th second, where initial stage, at the initial stage, for my convenience, I am talking like 0 seconds. Okay. At 0th second, A1 is 0 and A2 is 0. Okay. Automatically, it is an AND gate type. It is going to produce an output B as 0. Okay. It is running that for 3 seconds amount of time. After 3 seconds, A1 is made 1. After 3 seconds of time means here, this thing you can see, this 3. After 3 seconds, what is happening? After 3 seconds, You are giving A1 as 1. A1 as 1. And previous value of A2 is at the same point of time, previous value of A2 is 0. That means you are verifying for the value 1, 0. So 1, 0, it is an AND gate. So it is going to produce an output of 0 there. After 4 nanosecond, that means after 1 second. Here, what we are writing here is with respect to the 0. It is, that means you want to keep that one for 1 nanosecond, right? So that means after 0 up to 3, one value. After 3 to 4, we have another value. After 4, we add 2. That is up to 6, we have other value. After 6, up to 10, we have other value. After 10, up to 13, we have another value. After 13, up to 14, we have another value. See here, that's the thing what we are getting here. Okay. At the time period of 4th second, what is the value? A1 is 0 and A2 is 0. Automatically the B value will also be 0. At the 6th second, that means after the execution of this time, we are asking to execute the same value for 2 seconds. After that, at the 6th second, you are giving this value. A1 as 0 and A2 as 1 and B is also becoming 0. After that, you are asking to wait for 4 seconds. So at the 10th second, what is the values? A1 is 1 and A2 is 1 and B1 is equal to 0. After this statement, you are asking to wait for 3 more seconds. So that means after 13th second, your values are 1 and 0 and B is equal to 0. And there you are asking to execute these values only for 1 second. So now it is at the point of 14th second. At the point of 14th second, so A1 is becoming 1 and A2 is becoming 1, and so automatically the value of B is going to become 1 there. Do you get now? First we are analyzing the test program, simulation program, test simulation program. So you will see the AND primitives directly. So since we have AND gate as a primitive, it's not necessary for us to write the program for an AND gate. We can right away use those by mentioning what are the outputs and what are the inputs directly we can use. So we are writing the test program there. Just you can see the explanation for this, all these things. So this thing we have explained, studied here. The module test AND has no ports. Since it's a test program, we don't have any ports here. Okay. Generally, we used to have ports. You can see. This is the name of the program. Sorry, this is the instantiating AND. It is mentioning that it has AND, and G1 is the name of the program, and here we have the ports. These are called as ports or arguments, whatever it may be. So first we write the outputs, then we write inouts, then we will write the inputs. That is the order what we will be generally following. Okay. Here it's a stimulus program. So we are giving as test underscore AND, and it doesn't have any ports in the right hand side. So it instantiates the AND module once, and the test input sequences is specified with the help of initial test input is instantiated with the help of initial. So we have some sequence of statements between begin and the end. We have some sequence of statements between the begin and the end. Okay. That means it has to be executing sequentially only. That's the reason why we have given here some timing delays. Okay. So sequence statements between the begin and statements together form this block. Okay. The keyword initial specifies the settings down initially. That is only once for the whole routine. And At initial stage, we want to write our values of A1 and A2 as 0. For that only we have written their initial, then begin A1 and A2 as A1 is 0 and A2 is 0. Later we have for different at the different timings we have given different changes to the input values. So at the 0 simulation time we have A1 and A2 as zeros. Okay. After 3 time steps. Okay. After 3 time steps, A1 is set to 0 to A1 is set to 1. Okay, A1 is set to 1, but A2 is remaining as 0. What I have explained in previously, the same thing will be given explanation here, right? Okay. So you can see here, what are the other statements what we have to see? These are the initial conditions and we are making a simulation sum. At what point of time, what should be the input? We are giving only the input just like this. And for what it is for the gate G1 and the gate it is. So for the gate G1 I am giving its output and its inputs. Okay. What we are saying here is initially just you monitor the timing. This is dollar time is nothing but these are the timings, right? At what point of time, what are the changes taking on? We just observe it. We want that is nothing but a monitor statement, right? For A1 is equal to percentage B. That means A1 has to take a value of A1 is equal to, that means here the value A1 is equal to, A1 is going to take a value of binary, A2 is also taking a value of binary. And the value B is also going to take a value of binary. Okay. So A2s and A1s and A2s and we have to monitor the output. Output is B, right? Based on the every change in inputs according to the timing, just to produce the output. What it means? Okay, what does it mean? There is a change. You just monitor the changes in the times from time to time. There is change for A1 and A2, which are taking the binary values, and the output is also a B. B is also a binary one. Those values we are assigning here. Okay, and then you execute that content, and we are finished. What we are saying is finish the simulation after 100 nanosecond, 100 units of time. So after 100 units of time, you just finish the simulation. First thing what we have mentioned here, initial slash 100 is nothing but starting from the 0th second, 0th unit second, you continue that simulation for only 100 seconds and then you finish. Finish is for permanently that means for that particular program, suspend the simulation. If I write stop, $stop, it is for temporary deviation of that particular simulation. Okay. Stop is for, that means we want to change that, what you say, we want to change that simulation to some other place and after getting the correct value there, you are using that value once again here and using that. Okay. So that thing, at what point of time, what will be the input and what is the final output is going to produce, you have seen there. So the same thing what we have mentioned here. Clear. That means what we have mentioned is nothing but just the step-by-step form of this explanation only. So for the truth table of gate primitives, you can see. So I have a chance if I mention that A1 is an input of bit type. I can give either 0 or that means binary type. I can give either a 0 or 1 or X or Z. Okay, for that we have seen the truth table here. So if it is if the input is 0 and 0, okay, so we see here this is input 1. If the input 1 is 0 and output input 2 is also 0, it is going to produce an output of 0. 0 0 0 1 0 x 0 z. It is AND gate. So if it is only 1 1, it is going to produce 1. Rest all values it will be generally 0. You can see here for 1 0 it is this is 1 and this is 0 1 0 it is also 0. You can see here now for 1 and this side 1 for 1 1 it is an AND gate, so it has to produce a 1 there. That's it. So for 1 and x for 1 and x for an AND gate, if one of the input is 1, the other gate input what you give that will be going at the output. That is the thing what we have here. One gate is 1 and other gate is z. We don't mention as outputs. We don't move that thing. That point we have already discussed in the previous class. The output will not be moved to the high impedance state. Generally, we don't make them to move to the high impedance state. So generally, we will be indicating with the help of X only. Okay. So for 0 and X, it is 0. This clearly. But if it is of one of the unknown input, one is an unknown input, another one is 1. So if it is 1, so automatically what the value is present here, that will be coming here. If it is 0, automatically it is 0. If it is 1, it is 1. That's the meaning of unknown, right? Okay. If it is X already, and if both the inputs are unknown, then automatically output will also be unknown. If one of the input is unknown and other one is in high impedance state, generally we will be unknowing. We may not know the output. The similar fashion, same for the Z also. If one of the input is at high impedance state and other input is 0, automatically the output will also be 0. But if one of the input is at high impedance and the other one is pass through just like 1, so the input will also be unknown. So here one thing we have to observe, we have many number of inputs and only one number of output in this AND gates. These things we will see. The same thing what we have explained here is explained here. So now you see what is the general module structure. General modular structure, if you see. So this is the, okay. This is the test bench waveform generation. Okay. So here we are discussing regarding this module statement more elaborately. Okay. So when you write module is the keyword. Okay. We can give some name. If you give some name, we can recall it once again. Okay. For that purpose, we are giving some name, and in the bracket we will be writing the arguments. Arguments in the sense, first we will write in the order of outputs, inouts, and the inputs, right? So these are the inputs A1 and A2, outputs are B1 and B2, inouts are C1 and C2s. So if you see here, the prototype declaration here follow the module declaration mentioned above, and we have to mention whether it is a wire or a resistor. Okay, we can what we can say, output cannot be so we have inputs as A1 and A2 and C, B2, B1 and B2. So this thing we can clearly explain with the help of some example. Okay, I think you'll see. So first let me explain. We'll take a clear and cut example of AOI. This is AOI and OR and AND gate and OR gate as inputs. Okay, AND gate AOI. Okay, AND gate and OR gate interfacing like this. You can say AOI. If you see what we can see, we have inputs A1, A2, B1, B2 as inputs, and the final output is O. These O1 and O2, what are these? These O1 and O2 are the intermediate signals. Okay, let us see the program detailedly. Then you can understand how to write a program easily, right? So the figure what we have seen here is okay 4.3. For that same thing, we are writing the program here. So see here. So this is for comment line. For multiple lines comment, we are using as colon star star colon, right? The content what is in between this thing from here to here is just like a comment. Okay, it doesn't execute in the compilation. Okay, so this is the module AOI gate is. So we want to write a program for AOI gate. In that, what are the outputs and what are the inputs? So A1 and A2, B1 and B2 are the inputs. 0 is the output. So these are the intermediate signals, right? O1 and O2 are the intermediate signals. First we see here. So when we instantiate it AOI gate, I am giving name as AOI gate to that particular module. First we are writing output, then we are writing input. If we have in-outs, we will be writing in between these outputs and inputs. Okay, then you see here now. So next we are writing as, here we are writing total thing, but here we are mentioning in detail what are the inputs. Input space A1, A2, A1, A2, B1, B2, these are the inputs. The same thing we are mentioning with the help of single line comment indication. Double quote, double slash. Okay, double black slash is for single line comment. A1, A2, B1, B2 forms an input. Okay. So what are these? These are the modules of the ports of a module, right? Okay, we are mentioning the ports of the module, and we have an output. So this is output O. We are mentioning output O. You can see up to this is every line is having a semicolon there. You can see here. Every line is having a semicolon here. Semicolon here. And we are mentioning what are the inputs now. And now we are assigning for for outputs. In DHL we used to have signals, right? Instead of signals here, we are using a wire. So that means wire it can be used as input and output, right? That's the reason why we are using O1 and O2 as wires. Okay, O1 and O2 are intermediate signals, so we are using them as a wire within that particular module. Okay. Now you can see. So I might have an AND gate with the name G1. That means I want to call that AND gate. I want to call an AND gate. Now locally I am giving it a name as G1. So locally, what are my AND gate outputs and inputs? You see, what are my local outputs and inputs? For gate G1, my local output now, which I have instated as a wire, is O1. So what are here local inputs here is this particular gate G1 is A1 and A2. The same thing what I mentioned here. So that means I am instantiating an AND gate two times. So AND gate with the gate name of G1 and AND gate with the gate name of G2. Okay, gate name of G2. So what is my wire here? I will get some output from A1 and A2. It will be performing some AND operation. It is going to get some value as an output, which is temporary signal that is stored in O1 here. The same fashion O2. Between B1 and B2, I will get an output of O2. So just these are the names. G1 and G2 are the local names what I have given for that particular. When I call some gate in VHDL, sorry, in Verilog HDL, we have to give some local name also for that particular gate. That's the thing what I have given here, G1 and G2. Now NOR gate. So here other gate is nothing but G3 is an OR gate. So sorry, NOR gate. I am going to call NOR gate with the name G3. And for that I am having inputs of O1 and O2, but I can give my final output as. So I am instantiating an OR gate. I am giving a name for it as G3. And what are the outputs here? Only O is the output. And what are the inputs? O1 and O2 are the inputs for it. Okay. O1 and O2 are the inputs. These are generally the temporary signals. And I'm performing some operation on these. That is nothing but an OR. Its output is going to store in O there. Okay. So O is the output. Final output we are directly assigning that. Okay. So after writing all this, I am writing as end module. Okay. So this is the main program that is for AOI gate. How to write a test bench for this? You see here. For test bench, we will write AOI.test. Here is AOI gate. Generally, we used to write AOI underscore test only. Sometimes you can mention as ST. Simulation testing, right? This is nothing but a simulation testing. So I'm getting it as ST. Okay. So module AOI ST. Here you can see in the test bench program, we will not have a bracket with some arguments to mention what are the inputs and what are the outputs. Straight away, we will write semicolon. Okay. Then we have to mention a register A1, A2, B1 and B2. These are inputs, right? A1, A2, B1, B2 are registers. Sorry, A1 and A2, B1, B2, they are the inputs. So we are giving it a register there. So here this is commenting. Okay. Specific values will be assigned to A1, A2, B1, B2, B1, B2. And these are connected to input ports of the gate instantiations. Okay, just these are, and for inputs I'm using a register there. Okay, So for instantiation, we are using input ports of the gate. So variables are declared as registers. Then, so for an output, I am using a wire there now. So previously I have used wire for O1 and O2 there. Okay, now I am using wire for O output. Okay, then we have initial and we have begin there. Here in test bench you can see we don't have any O1 and O2. Why? It will be generally, this testing will be executing in sequential manner. Why? Because we are using begin, right? So the value what we get straight away, it will be passed, right? So then we used a wire here for indicating the output. For inputs we are using in the test bench, in the input for inputs we are using register, and for output we are using a wire. Now in the initial stage. That means now simulation process is at the 0th second. Okay, your output waveform is at 0th second. At 0th second, what are we are giving as input is all of them. And initially we are giving A1, A10, A20, B10, and B20. So these values will be run for 3 seconds. After that, what we are doing? We are making only A1 as 1. After 3 seconds, we are making, that means at this point of time, that means after 3, it is at 0th position. At 0, all are zeros. A1, A2, B1, B2 are zeros. At the third second, we are making A1 as 1. That means A2 and B1, B2 go, all three are zeros only. After some time, what I'm doing after with the same values, that means making A1 as 1 and A2, B1, B2 as zeros, we will run for 3 seconds. At the third second, after third second, we are making A2 as 1 now. So what will be the values now? Now the values are A1 1 and A2 1 and B1 0 and B2 as 0. Now after that, I run the same value for 3 seconds. After 3 seconds, I make the value of B1 as 1. Okay, at that point of time, what will be the values I'm having? A1 1, A2 1, and B1 is 1. Okay, and B2 is 0 only up to that point of time. So now I'm making for 3 nanoseconds of time. After 3 seconds, I'm making B2 as 0. After that, once again, I will be executing with executing it to the other values. Again, I make A1 as 1. Okay, and after 3 seconds, 3 unit seconds, I make A2 as 0. And after 3 unit seconds, I make B1 as 0. Okay, this is to, what is this content? Instead of giving manually 0 after generally in VHL when we simulate, what we'll be doing is first we will run once. That means it will be at all zeros will be running. So uninitialized will be running first. Then we make everything all the values as 0 and we'll execute for 2 times. That means if the time period is around say 1 microsecond for one positive cycle, half microsecond is for the positive cycle of the clock and half microsecond is for the negative cycle, right? So later what we'll be doing, then we will assign A1, 0 like this. We are manually giving the values. Instead of giving like that, what we are doing here is just we are okay. And instead of giving manually, we are defining the inputs as waveforms. Do you get now? I am defining the input waveform. It has to be in high state for 3 seconds. It has to be low state so and so variable has to be in low state for 3 seconds. That thing we are defining here. That is, we are defining the input waveform. Okay. And then we are running and we are observing the output. So after giving all these contents, that means we have to verify whether it has covered all the logics or not. We have 4 values, right? We are giving only zeros and ones. We have to see whether all the combinations has come or not. Okay. So after that, we'll end that and we will initial. We write here initial and it has to run from initial onwards, or it has to run for with these values. The simulation has to run for 100 units of time. And here you see here, I am stopping it. I'm stopping the simulation. That means the simulation ends after running for TUS. What does TUS? Time units second. Okay, time unit second, in the sense here I doesn't mention it is a microsecond or okay, nanosecond or millisecond. I don't mention anything. It's time unit second. Okay, then we have to mention, okay, what are the changes it has to observe. Okay, anyhow we have to mention only the input. Okay, we are mentioning the inputs. Okay, everything is well and good, but what about the outputs? At what point of time it has to change? At what points it has to concentrate? We have to mention that one also. See, the thing I am seeing as initial. You monitor dollar monitor. I am asking, if I use some dollar symbol here, I am giving some instruction to the simulator, that is compiler or simulator, whatever it may be, that to monitor. That means to observe the timing. To observe the time. Time is also system related. Okay. That's why I'm also mentioning with the dollar only. I'm mentioning regarding the time. So this is comma here, and there we are assigning in the double quotes, in between double quotes, what we are assigning is I am mentioning O. O is an output. Okay. It is of type binary. That's why I am mentioning percentage B. A1 is an input. Okay. It is also percentage B, that is also a binary one. A2 is a binary. B1 is a binary. B2 is a binary. So we want to give some indication that whether they are binary or any other decimal or any other thing. That thing we have to mention there. So what are these? These are the, it's in the same order we had to write here. Outputs followed by the inputs. What we have mentioned in the program, in the main program, what we have mentioned, the same thing. This is just instantiating that AOI gate. We are writing the test bench for what gate? We are writing the test bench for this gate, right? This is AOI gate. I think we have written here. AOI gate GG. I'm just giving the temporary name for it for simulating the test bench. I'm giving this temporary name as GG, and the same thing what I have mentioned there, I have mentioned here also. 0, 0, A1, A2, B1, B2. This is the module, and AOI gate it is actually, and I'm calling that gate AOI gate with the local name as GG, and I am ending that. Okay, I'm ending the total module. This is the test bench, and this is the original program. This is the original program. Generally, what we'll do is we can execute this manually also. We can execute this program manually by giving the inputs whatever necessary for us. And instead of giving that input values by hand, what we are doing is we will be writing a test bench. The test bench is this, defining the input waves for how much point of time, which variable should be in 0, 0, that means high. Sorry, 0 means low, right? And 1 is high, right? So That is to mention, to define that waveform. For that, it is going to produce an output for how many amount of seconds? For 100 time unit seconds. And we are also mentioning here, these should take, that means inputs and outputs should be of binary type. We have to mention, and just we are instantiating it and we are releasing it. So this thing is the simple example. So these things already know that. These things we already have seen this. First there should be output, then only there should be in output, then only we should have input ports. Okay, generally we may also not have any name for module, but we will be generally giving the name. Why? Because then only we can call with the proper name, the truth tables. So you can see this basic gate primitives, inputs and output ports. Okay. Only one thing we have to remember is a buffer. A buffer will have any number of outputs, but input is only one. A buffer is nothing but to store some value, and it has to that value has to be used by many number of times. Okay, that's the reason why we will be having only one input and we have many number of outputs. And NOT gate also. NOT gate is just similar to the type of buffer, right? Two NOT gates we use means it is nothing but a buffer. So it will be having only one input and we can have many number of outputs. The highest count of this outputs number, the highest count of this output number will be depending upon the how many bit compiler it is. If it is a 32-bit compiler, will be having 32 number of outputs. We can connect to 32 number of outputs. If it is of 64-bit compiler, we can have 64 number of output bits. Okay, but rest all you can see AND gate at AND gate, AND OR NAND NOR XOR XNOR, except buffer and NOT. Rest all will be having only one output. Okay, we'll have only one output, and we can have many number of inputs. Many number of inputs. That many number in the sense it depends upon the compiler. How many bit compiler it is going to depend there. Okay. So next class we'll see just it is writing the truth table. How to write the truth table? We know for what values of inputs, what is the output. Okay. For an AND gate, when it will be for an AND gate, when this output goes to the 0th state, for AND gate, any one of the input is 0. If any one of the input is 0, then it is automatically going into the output going into the 0th state. When will be the AND gate output will be 1? All the inputs are at 1 only, it will be. This is the table. Okay, this thing we have already studied. Just in the next class also you'll see this table once again if possible. Okay. See you in the next class.